guys, welcome back to the channel, and we're going to round out my look at the Earthrise Wave 1 Deluxes this time with this guy. An unexpected surprise. This is Hoist. And he is super duper hollow, but that is far from the whole story. We're also going to compare him with the Generations Hoist. This time around in the latest GotBot True review. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, share, of course, subscribe, and while you're at it, man, that's right, hit that notification bell. It helps me out a lot, and it lets you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, Transformers Collectors, and the Autobot family, and have a look for me everywhere across social media. And this is the new Earthrise Hoist and Generations Hoist. I always liked Generations Hoist. This is a nice lad. And when I first saw the Earthrise, I said, yeah, looks good. I don't know how functional those arms will be. I don't like the excessive hollowness, and trust me, there is excessive hollowness. But is that enough of a weakness to make this guy bad or not worth it? Probably quite on the contrary. There is, pardon the pun, much more here than meets the eye. And we're going to head over to the table. We're going to compare both of these guys when we take a closer look at this guy. And so we might actually have another sleeper hit on our hands. And I wasn't really kind of jazzed up for Hoist. But now that I've got him, a few things have come to light that make me like this guy a lot more than I originally did. That being said, he is still the most hollow of hollow offerings that we've had between Siege and Earthrise at this point. Nevertheless, before we get to him himself, let's take a second to just run through his packaging first. We have lovely imagery over here. He does have his blaster down over his hand, a la his, like, you know, one hand that was a blaster in G1. That being said, this time it's orange. In G1, it's actually white. Kind of like the orange, even if it's not quite accurate. On this side, we have the regular images. On the back, we have the product images. They are what they are, and you can see the blaster on over his hand right here. Again, it's orange rather than being white like it should be. And here we have those great Siege instructions. Again, we have up here stats. They're in Cybertronian. I don't know what they are. He seems pretty high in most of them, though. By the way, I didn't do it with Ironworks when I looked at him, but if you take the little red decoder thing for Ironworks, it says Junkion. For Ironworks it says Velocitron. For Hoist, this guy, on his package it says Junkion. They're planet names. And here's our boy next to his Generations counterpart, and everyone has said that Hoist, the Earthrise Hoist, is a very tall deluxe, and the Generations Thrilling 30 Hoist is a small deluxe. This is true. And part of the height that comes with the Earthrise is the fact that almost everything on him is hollow. Don't worry, the plastic doesn't feel bad. I don't think I'm going to break a thing on it. But you should know that there's a lot of hollowness to him, and we'll detail that in a moment. However, the real comparison that needs to be made is the actual mass in grams of plastic used. And you know what? I'm okay with this because guess what? The Thrilling 30 Hoist weighed in at 86 grams, pretty typical for a deluxe offering. The new one weighs in at 90. We actually do get a higher parts count and more mass, so how can I really complain about some hollow bits? Which, by the way, I'm sure will be filled in by third party. In terms of coloration, well, I looked at the Generations Hoist in episode 154 a long time ago, and I said that his coloration was an 8. The Earthrise coloration, little bit of a different story. Honestly, the blaster that covers his hand should be white instead of orange, though I like the orange. And besides that, The only other kind of thing worth noting is that he does have a little bit of like scuffing, we'll call it. I guess it's supposed to be battle damage on his forearms, but it's hardly noticeable. other than other people pointing it out, I don't know if I ever would have noticed it myself, if I'm being fair. And the battle damage kind of down around the front of his hood is weird. I don't know why it's there. Kato, shout out to Kato's Collectibles. Kato said it best. It's like there's frost on the hood on a cold winter's morning. It doesn't really look like battle damage. That being said, the entire hood section is also the clear translucent plastic like the windows that's been painted. So I'm not going to try and remove that battle damage, because in doing so I would definitely end up stripping off the rest of the green paint. And I love this deep, almost like foresty green paint. I do not want to risk ruining that at all. This is one time where, you know what, I'll just have to live with the battle damage being there. Strangely, we're not seeing much battle damage, and so this is a bit weird. Whereas the Generations one was an 8, the Earthrise one is easily a 9.75. Almost perfect. What about the Articulation? Well, again, the Generations one was an 8. Our Earthrise lad is a little bit of a different story. This time around, we have a head that goes left, it goes right, it goes up, and it goes down, just as the other head can do. We have shoulders that, to my shock, you have to get that out of the way, can make it all the way around. You might have to move these little pieces a little bit, and they do rotate, and this behind his head can rotate for transformation. We have shoulders that actually can go like way, way up, all the way out. I totally dig that. We have arms that can bend way, way deep. I dig that. We have a wrist on the guy. Wrist swivel. Dig that. We have a waist on the guy. It is hindered by his backpack, but like, you get as much as you're really gonna need with them. We have legs that can go well forward. We have legs that can go all the way back. We have thigh swivel. We have a knee, but really because of transformation we have a double knee. The knee joints on a lot of people's are a little bit, like, they're loose. Like, it's not gonna fall, but it's like neither just falling, but they are, I don't want to say they're loose. Like, they're not falling, they'll hold position, but it doesn't take much to make him bend back, especially where he is a touch back heavy. Thigh swivel, if I didn't say it, built in up right there, and pretty darn deep ankle tilt. Honestly, 10. His articulation is stupendous, and because of kind of the like bulk on the back of his arms and the rest of the bulk to him, I thought that that would be compromised. It's not. It's terrific articulation. Really, really top-notch stuff. Now, the elephant in the room is the hollowness. When I pick this guy up and shake him, first thing you're gonna hear is the wheels shaking. Oh, by the way, part of the reason too that he only gets a 9.5 for his paint apps is because the tires on the front have silver rims. The tires on the back do have silver, but the center is gray. I may paint that silver as well, just not because it'll match. They're different tires again, kind of like with Optimus, but at least it'll be a closer match. Just saying. So, yeah, he's fantastic with a overall score right now, I'd say of an easy 9.75. And kind of blew me away. But the elephant in the room is the hollowness. When we come to the back of the leg, hollow. It's because of transformation, but it's hollow. Thigh, hollow on the inside. Body, completely hollow. When you pull this back piece out, can I do it? Yeah, like hollow, all hollow. The arms, little bit of hollowness right there on the bicep. Forearm, completely hollow. The shoulder is not hollow, but it's really the shoulder is the only thing. Even the back of the knees is hollow. The shoulder is the only thing not hollow. And that was really, really bothering me until I got the guy in hand and I realized that some of it is justified for transformation, but he is quite spectacular. Enough that I cannot wait for Trailbreaker, who, as of this recording, was just announced, and he looks fantastic. I think as everybody thought he would. What about the transformation? Let's get into it. We're going to take this out. Now there's different spots to store this, and in the instructions they show you a spot, but I'm not going to put it there. I'm going to put it somewhere else. We take these arms and bring them all the way up over and sort of kind of bend them like that. We, I guess we can kind of pick off this backpack piece and flip out. Ooh, I just lost the little wheel in here. It's just clipped in. Put those up like that. Should just flip out, I think. Maybe they gotta go this way? Yeah, they gotta go that way. There you go. Flip that out. Bring these down around. Bring this whole piece back. No problem so far. We got that down and around. We got the arms up over. Boom. The head, it can at this point flip down behind, and it goes in beneath there. Pardon the cut, but I had to figure out what was going on with that head. It was driving me crazy. And of course it was my own foolish stupidity, because I had the head slightly turned. You guys were probably yelling at the camera, straighten the head, man. I had the head slightly turned. It does need to be facing directly forward for you to flip it down, but it does fit in this slot here and flips down to give us the top of the truck. Next, we can split the waist, bring up the front here, and bring it all the way up. So that's way up over the windshield. We can next straighten down the arms like this, and using the waist hinge, this orange piece here comes up and tabs in. We fold in the legs next. There's a tab on the back of the leg. It goes into a slot, really kind of in the ankle tilt. Rectangular slot, rectangular peg. That goes in like that, and this one will go in like that. That came unpegged, and we peg it up. Straighten all of that up. And now comes what I call the tricky part, because we have to bring this down on the side. When we bring this down on the side, the arm comes in underneath, but you need to finagle it ever so slightly. Same on the other side, but now we have a tab on the back that's supposed to go into a slot here on the side. We have like a slot on the orange that goes over a tab here on the green. And it's all supposed to hold together to solidify. It's tough to do, I think. We bring this one in and bring this arm up. Now, before I do anything else, here at this point I like to take this blaster piece and put it into a port on the forearm. And now this can come down. These can go up. And as this comes down, a lot of people have complained about the hollow section up under the hood. By my estimation, this orange blaster now fills that in underneath. I dig it. We tab kind of all of this back end together, and this will give us our truck. I'm going to tab it in because it's a little bit of a nuisance to do, on my copy anyway, and then we'll kind of look at him next to his generation's counterpart. Now I wanted to focus on this especially because it's hard to discuss, and it's going to be a point that I want to make later on. We're supposed to have two tabs in the center that tab down into the legs, kind of on the inner side of the leg. Then we have two more tabs on the outside of the orange, and they tab down into these pieces running along the side. And then we're supposed to have a third connection point of rectangular tabs on the side that go into the side of the leg. If I tab in the orange piece in the center and up top, I cannot, it's impossible for me to get that piece in there. That being said, it's also not necessary because this stays good and solid and secure anyway. And here we have both trucks. This one is obviously smaller, but it can roll nicely on all four tires. This one is bigger, but because of the way the hands transform underneath, the back tires roll, but the front ones struggle a little bit to kind of stay on the ground. They can do it, but it's really a matter of you have to have those arms like absolutely perfect, flawless if you want all 4 tires on there. And I think most of us would be off maybe by a micrometer or 2. There's 2 things about the transformation of the Earthrise one that bugs me. 1, the fact that those hands are a little bit of a hindrance of all 4 tires rolling, and 2, that back end that I talked about. It's good, it's solid, it's secure, but for some reason I cannot get all 3 of those connection points to line up. Maybe you can, and it's just me being me, but I kind of don't care because it's solid anyway. That being said, the transformation for the Generations one is better. It was a transformation of a 9. The Earthrise one has a transformation of about an 8. It's all right. Overall, the score for the Generations one was a 9. The score for the Earthrise one is about a 9, maybe a 9.25. I feel like both of these are fantastic, and whichever one you choose, you win for your collection. But for accuracy, the Earthrise one just ekes out the win. This is one of those cases where, honestly, there's not a bad choice here. And honestly, Hoist is very lucky to have 2 updated versions of himself that, for different reasons, are both quite excellent. And here we are once again. And at the end of the day, the Generations one is great. There's nothing wrong with it. Arguably a little small, definitely a little bit stylized, but you know what? It's a great hoist. It's a great mold. It functions well. Nothing wrong with this one. But then we get to the Earthrise. And the Earthrise absolutely embodies the G1 character and animation. Granted, he might be a little tubby chubby wubby, but it's accurate. It's the way he should be, and I can't wait to get Trailbreaker the same way. The joints are like all work well. He has an excellent range of motion. He has way too much hollowness. Way too much. But I understand how some of it, at least, like the back of the lower legs, is for transformation. I get it. I understand it. And arguably, perhaps part of the reason that that's done is to give him the extra height. Either way, he does end up having more mass by about 4 grams than his predecessor. So you're actually getting more for the, like you have the cost increase that's happened in Siege, although it hasn't been any more with Earthrise, thankfully. But you know what? Like, I see it with this guy. There's a ton of paint, especially on the hood, for example, and kind of the roof. There's a ton of paint here. And he's actually more plastic, more mass. I feel like this is actually good value for money. And you know what? When you can give me good value for money, I'm a happy camper. If you can make that value have excellent articulation, look the part, the conversion's okay. Okay, I do wish he rolled a little better in truck mode, but very minor complaint because he displays well in both and is pretty functional for the most part. The hollowness under the front hood, I get it. I get that a lot of people don't like that, but that's exactly where you should put this thing. It hides it pretty nicely, I think. Let me know what you think about Hoist. Which hoist is your hoist? Because honestly, again, there's no bad choice here. They're both fantastic. You know, I'd love to hear from you guys. As always, if you're in a position to help the channel to grow, there's a donate link down in the description. Please hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so already, because that helps me out so much. Yeah. And I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams, at the stop motion premieres, or the old-fashioned way, man. Right here, inside the videos.